cars enter, but only one can be victorious. I am at the top of Pikes Peak, well, about as close as we can get to it, and I'm going to take our new Model Y all the way down the mountain and see how much power it regens. At the very bottom is Tommy in the hydrogen Nexo, and he's going to drive up, and we're going to see not only how much energy he uses, but who gets to the top first and who gets to the bottom first. So, are you guys ready? Let's start this Pikes Peak challenge.
Can you hear me?
Well, this is not ideal. We've got hail. I'm losing traction.
No, not there. You join me today at the North Pole, which, believe it or not, is in Colorado at the base of Pikes Peak. And the goal is, I need to try to drive this hydrogen-powered Nexo to the top of the mountain and grab that flag before my dad can bring his Model Y back down here to grab this one. So, planting a flag for Colorado, let's see who wins this race.
There we go.
The Nexo runs on hydrogen, and the way it works is you put hydrogen into the tank. That is then combined with oxygen in the fuel stack in the front. That then makes electricity, which powers an electric motor to drive you up the hill. But the byproduct of combining hydrogen and oxygen is water, H2O. And actually, the water just streams gently out the back of the Nexo as you drive along. And I'm going to try to collect it as we go up the mountain and see just how much water we can produce on this drive.
Alright, so I've got 115 miles of range, and the question is, how much will I regen on the way back down? So, yeah, let's figure it out. Maybe I can actually reset the odometer here. There we go! So we'll find out exactly how far I'm driving, and we'll see how much power I regen going down a mountain. How cool is that?
Alright, about a minute until start time, 11:44. We're going to head off exactly at 11:45, or maybe 11:46, depending on whether or not my dad remembers to hit the gas in time. But somewhere up there is a man with hair like Barry Manilow in a red-looking catfish trying to prove to me that hydrogen is not the future, and I'm hoping to prove him wrong. Any minute now, you're about to see the least exciting and quietest start in history. There we go, progressing off.
Alright, here we go, down the mountain. Now the cool thing about this race, as opposed to the real Pikes Peak hill climb, second oldest race in America by the way, is that this is more left brain and not as much right brain. But what I mean by that is, you know, it's a lot less emotional and a lot more kind of cerebral, right? There's not going to be any tires that are going to be squealing on the edge of the mountain as we negotiate these turns because, well, we're here during the public days, and yeah, I can only go as fast as the speed limit or the car in front of me is going, which probably isn't very fast. But this is where it gets interesting, because if you're a left brain kind of person, then it really becomes about what's the better technology. Is it a battery powered car or is it a hydrogen powered car?
Alright, I'm here at the visitor center, and everybody here is asking 1,000 questions. It's a road, you drive up the road. I've been here now for like 6 minutes waiting for this gentleman in a Tahoe in front of me to understand that the Pikes Peak hill climb is just a hill climb up a really big hill. Alright, well, the trip has officially begun, and let me tell you what, Pikes Peak, of course, is a very infamous race for being super challenging and crazy dangerous, but even in a passenger car, it's pretty intense. Now, the race itself is about 12.2 miles, It's got 156 turns, 4,700 feet of elevation gain. I'm pretty sure that when Romain Dumas set the new record a couple years back in his Volkswagen IDR race car, he probably wasn't stuck behind a gentleman in a Buick Park Avenue. But when he came through those gates, the lady who gave us our entry pass said, "Don't run your AC on the way up because you can overheat your engine." And I said to her, I don't have an engine. And she got super confused, but was like, all right, whatever, kid. And then said, on the way down, be sure to run it in a low gear so you don't overheat your brakes. And I said, aha, I don't have a low gear. At which point she almost kicked me off the mountain and told me to go home.
Now I know why that famous movie about the Pikes Peak hill climb is called The Race to the Clouds. Because we are literally in the clouds. So the other great thing about electricity is that unlike any of the other car companies, Tesla has actually built out their own charging network. So the supercharging stations around the country let you use this vehicle no matter where you're at. So even if I run out of electricity or juice, I can always recharge at a supercharger. Unlike Tommy in the Hyundai. While Hyundai has built the car, they have not built out the stations. There are only, I think, 40 of them in California, and there is one here in Colorado, and unfortunately I can't use it because it's part of the National Renewable Energy Lab, and we called them, and because of COVID they said we can't use it. So unless one of the more traditional, dare I say, legacy manufacturers actually gets into the game and builds out their own hydrogen infrastructure, really you've got a car that is only sellable and usable in California at this point.
The way the hydrogen fuel cell technology works in this Nexo is truly out of this world stuff. Behind me are a few tanks that hold hydrogen at something like 10,000 psi. And when I accelerate, that hydrogen is sent to the front of the vehicle where it is mixed with oxygen in a membrane. Now that chemical reaction creates electricity, and that electricity is used to power the vehicle and the air conditioning and the radio and all the stuff that makes you comfortable inside the Nexo. But the byproduct of that reaction is water, H2O, and that's what's coming out the tailpipes right now. And you're probably wondering, here on this screen I've got a display and it actually shows me what's going on at any given time. So you can see we've got a tank right here that's sending hydrogen through the fuel cell, which is sending electricity to the motor, and when I actually lift off the throttle, it regens back into a relatively small high voltage battery. Other benefits of the hydrogen fuel cell technology: you don't have to wait 4 or 6 or 8 or 20 hours to charge up your car. You simply go to a hydrogen station, plug it in, 3 minutes later you have a full tank of hydrogen, and you can drive another 350 miles just like you could on any gasoline powered car. I can just barely read you. Can you hear me?
Wow, this is not ideal. We've got hail and a lot of it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Luckily we have all-wheel drive. Holy cow. The trick! I'm losing traction. I can't see anything. So, you know, all that stuff I said at the top of the mountain about this being, well, not very exciting, you can forget about that, because it's crazy exciting. I have no clue if there's hail damage or not. But luckily, it looks like we're heading into the sun again. Roman, Tommy, do you hear me?
We have used an alarming amount of hydrogen. We have probably gone about 8 or 9 miles and have used about 40 miles of hydrogen range, believe it or not. We are sucking through hydrogen like nobody's business. And that's alarming because this computer in everyday driving is spot on. The driving experience of this Hyundai is remarkably normal. Well, as normal as driving up a 14,000 foot mountain in a lightning storm could be, in that, you know, the steering is pretty light, it's a little overboosted, the brakes inspire a lot of confidence, and the overall ride is super comfortable. I'm talking like 1970s Cadillac levels of comfortable. You just sit back and cruise. I love it. The overall interior design of the Nexo, it's so cool. It's very like 1980s Casio, if you know what I mean. There's just rows of buttons, but it's retro chic. It's awesome, and everything is tactile. If I want to turn on the heated seats, push a button. Unlike the Tesla, I'm not fumbling through infotainment displays. Just push the button. What a concept! Thank you, Hyundai. And it looks cool. Everything in here is bespoke. Just love it. I really like the interior. I really love the ride quality. It's a little slow, but overall this car is a great thing to drive, especially every day.
You know, a hailstorm, what can I say? I mean, if Tommy wins this race, it's got to be an act of God at this point. I'm not going to be too upset about it because, yeah, that was absolutely crazy. I completely lost track of regen. I wasn't paying attention to anything but staying on the road and making it down the mountain safely. So, I think God has spoken, and he's on the side of hydrogen, believe it or not. In fact, the regen on this car is so strong that when I let go of the accelerator, it actually turns on the brake lights. Let me show you. Okay, lights are off. Let go of the accelerator, brake lights come on. Not only in the real car, but also on the little model. How cool is that? I also love the fact that Tesla actually has gone to the trouble of making the car that I'm driving in the simulation the same color as the real car that I'm driving. That's good attention to detail. Howdy.
Hello.
Yeah, check my brakes. I haven't used them.
I believe it. 53. No, you haven't.
I haven't used them. I told you. Thanks. See, that's the cool thing about electric cars. I've been using regen all the way down, and I'm already regened 3 miles, and I think I'm going to regen a lot more. And I wasn't even paying attention. I wasn't even trying to regen. I was just, you know, trying not to go creaming off the mountain.
And guys, this is getting kind of spooky. We saw some pretty serious lightning. We are way up in the clouds now. Just amazing. And I think, yep, this is as high as they're going to let us go today. We are almost at the top, but I think with the lightning and the parking situation, I think this is about as high as we can go.
I almost regen the exact amount that I used going up the mountain, and that is pretty darn cool. So really all that's left is I gotta find Tommy's flag and then let him know that I found the thing. So let's go look for it as we're pulling into our little parking area here.
It's hard to explain how thin the air is up here until you start moving around. It's incredible. Let's see if we can go find that flag. There it is! I found it! I found the flag! Did you find your flag yet? Did I win?
Yeah, I think you beat me again, dude.
This is not worth it. What a hill. There's no air up here.
I tried to make it hard so that you didn't win another race, but congratulations, dude. That was a well race, and you deserve this victory.
All right, Tommy, I'm back down. You've won this thing, so don't make me look for the flag. Help me out. Where'd you put it?
Oh, wait for your call. It's by some rocks.
All right, I'm parked by some rocks. I see it.
There you go. So I think I won that one, but I'm glad you found it. I'm just chilling out here at Nexo.
Hey, thanks for not hiding it too hard. You know, it's already been humiliating losing all these races to you. But, Tom, you get this. I regened almost the same amount of energy I used going up the mountain, so over 15 miles of regen coming back down.
Wow, Dad, that's pretty cool. Now, I am at the top of the mountain, but even though I don't have the same amount of regenerative braking capability, I can do something that yours can't. You want me to show you?
Yeah, I'll just wait for you down here, but keep in mind it's raining, so I'm gonna be waiting in the car for you.
All right, I'll see you at the bottom. From the very base of the mountain, we've gone 20.8 miles. We started with about 164 miles of range, now we have 117, so we used a lot of range to go 20.8 miles. Of course, the race course is about 12 miles, but that doesn't quite start at the very bottom. It's a little bit ways up the mountain. All right, back down the mountain, and look what I brought.
You brought some water. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it, yep.
So you brought some water. What's the big deal?
This is Nexo water. This came out of the Nexo on the way up the mountain. It's supposedly perfectly distilled, but
it's warm.
Yeah, it is warm. It's nice and warm.
Yeah.
And it needs to be warm because check out what I brought. Cup-o noodles. So I'm gonna use the Nexo's excrement, is that the word?
No!
The Nexo's creation, I should say, to make a cup-o noodles. It's not that hot, Dad, if we're being honest, and it's cooled down on the way down the mountain. Nice.
Because even though this is distilled, I think that that's probably the best use of it. Where's your flag?
It's right here.
Yeah, let's celebrate your victory.
I was excited. Alright guys, this was a super fun episode to make, and I think we proved that hydrogen technology, it's ready for even 14,000 feet of elevation. The car performed great. And the Tesla is a Tesla. It worked flawlessly as always.
No, I disagree. I think we proved that battery technology is better because, first of all, you can charge it anywhere, including your home, right? There's only one place to fill this thing up in all of Colorado, and they won't let us add it,
yeah.
Right? So in the race of hydrogen versus electricity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Electricity wins, even though hydrogen's, you know, is cooler. As always, guys, check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, TFL unique race reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao. You gonna eat this?
No!